Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Sometimes as a leader, it feels lonely at the top. That's because leaders have a vision. They have a picture of where they're going, and it's beyond the scope of most people's imagination. It's beyond what most people, the average person, thinks and does. It takes a little bit of risk. It takes some guts. It takes belief in yourself. It really takes keeping going, perseverance when it seems like nothing's going to happen. You notice that the best things in life are the ones that you've worked for, you've struggled through, you've overcame some major difficulties and obstacles, and then the victory was even sweeter. When you have a vision, when you're going after a big goal, there are going to be times where you doubt yourself, you doubt your limits, you look around and wonder why you're doing this. But if you have a dream that you're in love with, it pulls you. The vision pulls you so that you keep going even when it does seem like nothing's happening. Maybe you feel inadequate, ill-equipped, lacking in talents or abilities that you consider necessary to take a quantum leap. The secret is to go ahead and make demands on yourself and just watch how the necessary resources surface. You will rise to the occasion. Circumstances will call forth stuff inside that you seldom use or you didn't even know was there. You have many gifts that you've never opened. These are gifts of talent, ability, and reach that are yours for the taking. There's a little book called U Squared by Price Pritchett. It's a high velocity formula for multiplying your personal effectiveness and really going after quantum leaps. And he says, the people we call gifted are different from the crowd in one very special way. They accepted their gifts. They let it happen. The high achievers, the people we admire, are those individuals who opened their gifts. These winners have more gifts because they claimed them. They took them out of the wrapping paper and they used them. In the process of maturing and sharpening our skills, we broaden our abilities, but we also tend to focus primarily on the development of certain talents. There's only a select few that actually get our time and attention. As a result, we end up with a narrowed repertoire because we get better and better at fewer and fewer things. The question is, do we specialize too much? Maybe we're like a child that chooses to play with only 3 or 4 favorite toys, while every shelf in the room is crammed with other things. Opening your gifts in the quantum leap process is not a complicated exercise. It's time for you to do something with your gifts. The people we call gifted are different from the crowd in one special way. They accepted their gifts. They let it happen. The high achievers, the persons you admire, are those individuals who opened their gifts. These winners have more gifts because they claimed them. Now it's time for you to do something with your gifts. Claim them and you create them. Reach for them and they multiply. Use them and they grow to serve you still better. Opening your gifts in the quantum leap process is not a complicated exercise. Simply do what you need to do, even if it's not what you normally do, nor what you think you do best. The odds are you'll do it good enough, and if you just do it, you immediately begin to get better at it. Start using a muscle, any muscle, and watch it develop. See how quickly it grows in size and strength. If you look at those powerful skills that you've developed over the years, the talents that you have exhibited, you will find they are the gifts that you opened and enjoyed. How many other gifts and talents are there within your reach? For every gift you've opened over the years, there are hundreds that you've never unwrapped and taken out of the package. This unused potential hides there, just waiting to play a role in your quantum leap. When you make a quantum leap, you find out many new things about yourself. It's a fascinating experience in self-discovery. If you're doing the right things, you don't have to do them flawlessly to make a quantum leap. And if you're doing the wrong things, it doesn't really matter if you do them perfectly. They just represent a perfect way to ruin your chances for a quantum leap. If you're doing the same things over and over and over, stop and look at what you've been doing. Is it getting you closer to your goal? Maybe you want to start using one of your other muscles. Maybe you want to step back and look around and decide what it is you want to change. Think of the lowly caterpillar and its metamorphosis into the beautiful, high-flying monarch butterfly. A caterpillar can crawl really well. Crawling, in fact, is the very thing it does best. It can crawl straight up or down or even upside down. But there's no way a caterpillar can crawl fast enough to fly. Caterpillar has to give up on crawling. It has to totally abandon the whole idea of crawling. It has to stop that routine. It has to sacrifice its forward progress for a short while. It has to cocoon itself. To become a monarch, to free those shining auburn wings, to fly high and free, it has to break out of the cocoon of safety and open its gifts. Maybe it was better at crawling than using its wings, but those little caterpillar feet are worthless if the caterpillar wants to sail through the skies. Are there things that you need to stop doing even though you do them very well? If you want to make a quantum leap, you have to open the more of your gifts. You have to find your wings. That takes courage. It takes deep desire. Talents have a way of coming when they're called. if you're going to soar, if you're going to fly, if you're going to take a leap of faith and do something that you really always wanted, you have to fall in love with what you really, really want. What excites you enough to get you to move into action, to stop crawling along like the caterpillar and get your heart involved, because it's love that fuels the quantum leap. Your head figures out how to get there, but it's your heart that keeps you going. And in the overall scheme of things, it's your deep desire, it's your heart that's far more important than your brain. If you're going after what you really, really want, you better be in love with it, because there are going to be times where you're going to feel like giving up. But it's important that you realize you have many gifts and talents that you haven't opened. You've been gifted with unique talents and abilities that are only yours, and they're there to use. You just have to take them out of the wrap, experiment, have fun, do things differently. If you're not in love with your dream, it's doubtful that you're going to live out of the quantum leap strategy, because passion starts the process and caring enough keeps you going. And you really have to have a strong desire in order to change something that you really want to change. If you're going after something, you have to love it. You have to really, really, really want it. It's only with the heart that one can see rightly what is essential and invisible to the eye. Consider what has touched your soul. To find where you really want to make a quantum leap, you must look with your feelings. You must heed your heart. You must be in love with your vision. When you have a vision and you know where you're going, nothing's going to stop you. You have to be a leader in your own life. A leader has a great attitude. An effective leader understands who they are. They take control of their own life, and that leads them in the direction they want to go. How are you at leading yourself? Can you give yourself a command and follow it? Do you have the self-control to do the hard stuff, to keep going, to take the necessary action to get you where you want to be? An effective leader maintains a good attitude regardless of what's going on the outside. That takes practice. That takes calming your mind and getting clear. You have a vision, you have a deep desire in your heart. And when you get clear on the picture, you're the only person that can give birth to that picture, can bring it into form. You have the necessary resources, the gifts, the talents, the abilities. You just have to develop them, strengthen them. Remember something that you wanted as a little kid. Maybe you had an older sibling who was riding a two-wheeler bike, and you got so frustrated because you had a tricycle and you just wanted to have the freedom of riding a two-wheeler. that took courage, that took determination, that took doing things differently. You were taught or you figured out how to ride a two-wheeler, and that meant getting on and pedaling and moving. You can't pedal a two-wheeler and gain momentum and actually ride the bike by sitting still, by just sitting on the seat, by hoping somebody will push you along or pull you. If you want to ride a two-wheeler and have that freedom, you have to start pedaling and moving and picking up momentum and going in the direction that you want to go. Just like the caterpillar can't fly until it does something totally different. You have to decide what you're going after. You have to fall in love with this goal, this picture that's in your mind, planting it in your heart and deciding that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going after. That's what I want. When you focus on the outcome, the destination, the end goal, you start to get ideas of how to do it. You start to learn. Maybe you hire someone that has specialized knowledge, or you get someone to show you or teach you. But you have the talents, the gifts, the abilities. You have to open your gifts and use them. Develop your skills and abilities. That takes practice. It often takes courage. It takes beyond going where you normally go. It takes doing things differently. And that takes quiet solitude of thinking about the end result, thinking about your dream goal, visioning that beautiful picture, and getting into the state of being there. If you're doing what you love, if you have purposeful work that you want to carry out, see yourself doing it with love and joy in your heart. It's not work, it's what you love. And in doing what you love, you start to live a richer life. And as you're grateful, everything comes to you. Money comes to you from unexpected sources, or you earn more money than you could ever have imagined by doing things the way you always did. What is your vision? What are you creating in your heart and in your mind? Do you have a plan to move towards this vision? As you sit quietly and envision yourself at the end goal, celebrating, excited, calm and confident, full of health and vitality, loved and respected, richly blessed in all areas of your life, enjoying the journey and having come through some difficulties, feeling so fantastic about what you've accomplished. Looking around and saying, thank you, I created this. I did this. My life is awesome because I created this. Let's take a deep breath in and let that go. Caterpillars cannot fly, but once they cocoon and go through a transformation, a metamorphosis, and they struggle and they break out of the cocoon. And it's in the struggle that their wings get strong enough to allow them to fly. If you try cracking open a cocoon, the butterfly will just die. If you see a butterfly struggling and beating its wings and there's a little crack and it's struggling and you feel sorry for it and you help it by breaking it open and helping the caterpillar, the butterfly, it will die because the wings are not strong enough. The struggle is part of the process. The struggles that you've had, the challenges that you've overcome have caused you to be stronger, to be prepared, to do what you know needs to be done to get to that level of living the life that you've only imagined. Keep going. Yes, the struggle is real, but so is the payoff. The vision that you hold in your mind is meant for you, and you won't know every step. You just have to practice being there in your mind, developing a deep desire, a love, knowing that that's what you want to do, that's where you're going, whatever the picture is. Decide, make a committed decision today and every morning. That's where I'm going. That's what I'm going to do. And as you get into that feeling as if you're already there, that state of being, what does the wish fulfilled feel like? Your subconscious mind will look for evidence, will attract to you all the people, all the resources, everything that you need. The longer you stay in that vibrational energy, the more you focus, the more energy you put in your picture, in your vision, in your goal, the more the universe knows what you want. And your emotion is what calls it forth. Your subconscious speaks the language of emotion. When you're emotionally involved in what you really want, pretending that you're there, acting as if you're there, getting into that state of being, practicing what is it like now that you're there. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to get clear on your vision, to write it down as if it's already done. You might take a clean sheet of paper or a little sticky note and write, I am so happy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so grateful now that, and write down something that you truly desire. It might seem impossible. You have no idea how it's going to happen, but write what comes to mind, what's in your heart. Write it as if you're there. Put in some positive language, some detail. and I will be back in less than 2 minutes. Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. What came out as you started to write? Is it an idea that you've never thought before? Is it something that gets your heart jumping for joy? As long as you live, don't ever forget that while you may succeed beyond your fondest hopes and your greatest expectations, you can succeed beyond your wildest dreams. You can open your gifts, develop your talents, but you have to be willing to surrender. You have to form the habit of doing things differently. As a leader with a vision, with a goal, as something that's pulling at your heartstrings, you have to practice being in that state of being that. You have to develop some of your other skills and talents that are latent right now in order to make that quantum leap. You have to stop doing some of the things that you've been doing and revolving around the same path. Create some neural pathways in your brain. Start to get emotionally involved with your goal. Have the faith and the trust that this is meant for you, that it is the coming attractions of your life. And as you're reading your goal, as you're sitting quietly, getting excited about it, ask for guidance. Ask your higher self, how did we get here? You will start to get answers from inside. You will start to get impulses, some ideas, some things that are going to excite and scare you, some opportunities that you need to take action on. And as you start believing that you are the person who can manifest this goal, It's going to take belief and faith and developing more skills and abilities that you didn't even know you had. There's going to be some scary times, and the reward is always worth it. Create a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Have a wonderful weekend. If you're listening to this on YouTube, I would appreciate if you subscribe and like. And I'll see you back here Monday morning at 7. Thank you.